If you've ever felt like you're in a battle with your spreadsheets, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're going to unlock 5, let's call them superpowers, that will turn that grid of cells from a total chore into a powerful tool that you actually control. So, let's get into it.
Does this look a little too familiar? You're just staring at this huge grid of data, you're manually updating cell after cell, copying and pasting the same thing over and over and over, and you're trying to figure out a formula you wrote like last Tuesday, wondering, what in the world was equals B6 minus B13 supposed to mean? It's that feeling that turns this amazing tool into just tedious work.
But here is the secret, and it's kind of wild. The solutions to these super modern spreadsheet headaches, they're not new at all. We're actually cracking open this advanced Excel guide from a university that dates all the way back to 2005. And the incredible thing is, the ideas inside are maybe even more relevant today. These aren't just old tricks. They are the timeless, foundational keys to unlocking your spreadsheet superpowers.
Okay, first up, let's talk about those formulas. You know the ones, the cryptic ones you write and then 5 minutes later have no idea what they do? Trust me, there is a much, much better way to do this.
The first secret is something called a named range. And honestly, just think of it like a nickname. Instead of using some robotic cell address like B13, you can just give that cell, or even a whole group of cells, a simple, memorable name like total_sales. It seems like a small thing, but it completely changes how you build and, more importantly, how you understand your own work.
And this slide just says it all, doesn't it? I mean, look at the formula on the left. Equals B6 minus B13. If you come back to that in a week, are you going to remember what's in those cells? Probably not. Now look to the right. Equals total_income minus total_expenditure. It's perfectly clear, right? Because it reads like English. This isn't just about being neat. It's about building spreadsheets that you and anybody else can actually understand, which, believe me, cuts down on errors like crazy.
Okay, next up, manually looking for a piece of information and then typing it into your spreadsheet. It is so slow, it's boring, and it's basically an invitation for typos. So let's just make Excel do that heavy lifting for us.
So I'd like you to meet your new best friend, VLOOKUP. It stands for vertical lookup, and its job is really simple. It finds a piece of info in one table and just brings it back to wherever you need it. You just tell it what to look for, where to go looking, and which piece of info to grab. It is a total game changer that gets rid of so much manual work.
And here we can see it in action. Let's just follow the logic, okay? The formula in that cell, C5, is told to look up the word Melbourne from the cell right next to it. Then, it scans the very first column of that little table on the right until it finds a match. As soon as it finds Melbourne, it zips over to the second column in that same row and grabs the price. Now just imagine doing that for hundreds of rows. With VLOOKUP, it's instant and 0 typos.
So, we've made our formulas readable, we've automated our data lookups, but what if we need our spreadsheets to actually make a decision based on the numbers?
This is where the if function comes in, and its logic is as simple as its name. You give it a test, right? Something like, is this number bigger than 50? If the answer is yes, Excel does one thing. If the answer is no, it does something totally different. This is the basic building block for teaching your spreadsheet how to think for itself.
And here's a perfect real-world example. If you look in that dialog box, the formula is asking a really simple question. Is the score in the cell to my left 10 or more? If the answer is yes, it's going to display pass. If not, it displays fail. And that's the key right there. You're not just calculating numbers anymore. You are automating judgments and outcomes based on rules that you create.
You know, as your spreadsheets get bigger and bigger, it can be really hard to spot the important stuff. A huge sea of black and white numbers can easily hide both big problems and great opportunities. We need a way to make the key information literally jump off the page.
And this is exactly what conditional formatting was made for. You just set a rule, and Excel automatically changes how the cell looks when that rule is met. For instance, hey, if the text in this cell is fail, turn the background red. All of a sudden, your data isn't just a passive list anymore. It becomes this dynamic visual dashboard that tells you exactly where you need to look.
All right, so far we've automated our formulas, our lookups, our formatting. Now it's time for the ultimate superpower, teaching Excel to do entire sequences of tasks for you, all with a single click.
This is the magic of macros. A macro is, put simply, a recording of your actions, every single click, every keystroke. Just think about any repetitive task you do, maybe setting up a weekly report, cleaning up data you just downloaded. A macro can record you doing it one time, and then it will repeat that exact same sequence perfectly in seconds, every single time you tell it to. It's like teaching a robot to do your boring stuff.
And you do not need to be a programmer to do this. The macro recorder is just beautiful because it's so simple. You press the record button, you do your task just like you normally would, and then you press stop. That's it. Excel literally watches what you do and writes all the code for you in the background. It is the ultimate way to get rid of repetitive work forever.
So, when you put this all together, what's the big idea? It's about a fundamental shift in how you think. When you master these kinds of features, named ranges, VLOOKUPs, macros, you stop treating Excel like it's just a fancy calculator. You start to see it for what it really is. A powerful, dynamic toolkit for building solutions, automating your own work, and solving really complex problems.
By combining these timeless techniques, you really go from being just a user of spreadsheets to being a builder of systems. So, the question I want to leave you with is this. When you think about your own daily work, what's the first repetitive, tedious task you're going to teach Excel to do for you?